greedy economically and going for that Nexus as well. I just don't know how he figured he would have enough just units to fend off what would be.
I know maybe I think he could have, instead of getting that Robo Bay, maybe going for a Forge fast expand as well as going for that early Stargate would have been able to make him allow put several photon cannons down, maybe two or three, and that would have just helped in defense so much easier. TLO would not have been able to get in that base with those amount of sentries and with his
Yeah,
queens.
especially because with the correct placement of photon cannons, it is practically impossible for Zerglings to get into the base, particularly in conjunction with those Zerglings.
And
Yeah.
sentries, yeah. If maybe Huck did not have enough ground units, I think that was the problem. He had those Phoenixes out, which I don't know whether are a good choice versus Zergling massing. Z- uh, sorry, yeah, Zergling massing Zerg.
Especially
And
because he went for that Immortal as well, and the Phoenix and the Immortal both just really badly suited to dealing with mass numbers of Zerglings, and the incredibly quick attack rate of that Queen. Um, just a really,
exactly,
just a
exactly.
really lackluster unit composition for Huck.
Yeah, TLO really did manage to get the perfect amount of Zerglings in, and bringing those queens up, I really do like that play. Spreading the three creep tumors from the queens and bringing them in to bolster his full-on push, meanwhile taking to those mutalisks. So those queens really, really were just, good units to just delay Huck from being able to push in or and having to just defend constantly and breaking that natural expansion there just really allowed TLO to swap to those mutas without having too much
Yeah,
trouble.
and I'd just like to note that if you put multiple creep tumors next to each other in the way that TLO has done, the creep actually extends a lot faster. So you can just start leapfrogging those creep tumors at an unbelievable rate. You can see that the creep has gotten all the way, almost up to the entrance of TLO's base. And that is just such a huge advantage to getting multiple queens in the way that TLO did in this game.
Exactly. The Mortals really were a decent choice as he saw those queens and maybe thought TLO was going to be sending a lot of queens into play. But really, all he had is, if you look over the very top side of the map, those are the Zerglings that were. He kept sending in forces around about that big, and that amount of Zerglings versus, not that many sentries and, maybe a Phoenix. The Phoenix did nothing all game, managing to pick up maybe one of those Zerglings every
Yeah.
now and then, but really that is not going to affect TLO that much. Maybe going for a Void Ray, but still, then again, Zerglings really do good work to Void Rays, and they can't really kill them all that
Yeah.
fast.
I think in summary, I think the main lesson for a Protoss player to take away from this loss is that when you have small, elite, very expensive units like this, you just can't justify going for a Stargate and a robotics facility and that expansion all at the same time. It's just gonna leave you with your forces too thin on the ground to fend off even a flood of just low tier units like Zerglings.
Yeah, Huck going that Stargate, and obviously had in his mind that he wanted to go Phoenix. I think maybe before him going for that Stargate, he should have maybe whacked down three gateways and really just started massing those zealots, and saving up that gas. Really just getting 8 or 9 zealots out, and then preparing to go into that Stargate Phoenix, so he has a good ground coverage army as well as the Phoenix who can take control of the
Yeah,
air.
and that amount of zealots as well would have been able to put a huge amount of pressure on TLO, and just stuck his APM up, so he wouldn't have been able to formulate a response to those phoenixes quite as quickly. Well, also,
Exactly. Maybe because you see how TLO did exactly what he put the pressure on with those three queens and the Zerglings, and meanwhile taking to the Spire and stuff. Maybe Huck could have massed out some Zealots, some Sentries, not getting many Stalkers, saving the gas, and not getting that robotics facility, whacking down that Stargate, then putting maybe a Forge down and trying to go for that expansion while he had the really good amount of Zealots out on the ground army, and getting a whole heap of Phoenixes out in the
yeah,
process.
absolutely, and we have to hand it to TLO as well. It wasn't just the fact that Huck made some pretty bad tech choices in that game. It was also TLO's incredibly quick thinking, incredible use of queens, spreading the creep tumors, knowing exactly what tech switches he needed to make in order to capitalize on the advantage that he had there.
Well, exactly. Huck could not take those queens down for the life of him. The fact that the queens can just spam transfusion, the three of them just being a nice critical number, being able to keep each other up, maybe having two transfusions every time he needed them, and really just could not take them down. And the fact that they were sitting there pounding on the cybernetics core and certain other buildings, taking out that forges pylon, making him not be able to build any cannons. Just brilliant idea
Yeah,
there by
absolutely.
TLO.
Using those queens as a defensive unit with that screen of Zerglings just makes them so much more effective. Uh, anyway, I think
Exactly.
it's about time to wrap this replay up. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this cast, and we'll see you next time.
Good evening.